Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Book and Banter Society. My name is Lisa, and I am recording this on April the 11th, 2026. And in honor of the Artemis 2 having a successful flight, well, I thought it was only fitting to bring you a movie regarding space flight. But grab your barf bags because this is going to be a doozy. And I am talking about The Incredible Melting Man, rated R, 1977, with a running time of 1 hour and 26 minutes. Before we get started, as always, I want to say thank you. Thank you for your time. It is greatly, greatly appreciated. And also, too, don't forget to like and subscribe. And of course, hit that notification bell. And in case you didn't know it, I am a writer and I do have a book, and it is called The Creeping Things and Other Tales of Madness and Mayhem. And you can find my book on Lulu, Amazon, and all over the place. I'm worldwide. Just joking. And also, too, look me up on Instagram under the Book and Banter Society. Disclaimer: the views and opinions expressed on the Book and Banter Society are my opinions and my opinions alone. I am not a professional movie critic. I am just a person that loves movies and I like to share them with you. And also, too, there may be things in these movies or things that I may say that may trigger you. There's talk of violence, gore, I mean, you name it. So I'm just letting you know you have been warned. And spoiler alert, I will not give away the ending of any of the movies, but I do talk about them a lot. So, okay, disclaimer out the way, spoiler alert out the way. All right, let's keep going. Quick side note: I first watched this movie as a kid. It was featured on Elvira's Movie Macabre. And in case you're not familiar, this was a Saturday night television program that aired in Southern California. It originally aired from 1981 to 1986, and the show featured all types of horror films and sci fi B movies, and they were all hosted by Elvira, which was played by Cassandra Peterson. And what Elvira would do is she would interrupt the films with comments and jokes and just all kinds of silly stuff. But hey, doing this show made her a household name. And not only that, it brought to light a lot of these movies that time had forgotten about. So the movie starts with three astronauts, and they are on a space flight to Saturn. Woo! So the movie starts with three astronauts, and they are on a space flight to Saturn. Woo! And well, let's just say the flight doesn't turn out the way it should. Unfortunately, two of the astronauts perished, but one did survive, and that would be Colonel Steve West. But as you can see by the chart, well, Houston, we have a problem. And you see Dr. Loring, he's trying to figure out how Steve was able to survive. And he's tried different things on Steve, but nothing is helping his condition. And he tells the nurse, "Look, I'm going to contact another doctor, Dr. Nelson. But in the meantime, we need to keep all of this strictly confidential." So a few moments later, Steve wakes up. But look at him. He is strapped down to that bed. And the question is, why is he strapped down? Yeah, they don't want him getting up. But he breaks free of the straps. And oh, the first thing he notices are his hands, you guys. He's looking at his hands like, what the F? And then he runs to the mirror and he's like, probably saying to himself, well, if my hands look like this, what does my face look like? And Steve starts to take off the bandages. Yikes. Oh no, look at Steve. Steve cannot believe it. He looks in the mirror, then he turns away, then he goes back to the mirror, and it's like, oh my God, what the hell has happened to me? And Steve is throwing things around the room. He's upset. And it's just at that moment the nurse comes back into the room carrying glass bottles of blood. Steve whirls around. She takes one look at Steve's face. She screams. She drops the blood, and Homegirl starts taking off like a track star. And in my personal opinion, this is the best shot in the movie. I mean, look at that top picture because you see her, it looks like she's far away, but is going to start running towards us in slow motion. So slowly she gets closer and closer to the camera. And as she gets closer to the camera, you can see the look of horror on her face. Then look, she breaks through the glass door. I mean, she is like, look, I'm trying to survive because Steve is chasing me. It's like, oh my God. Oh, and I love this camera work because look at Steve's hand. You can see that he's coming closer and closer to her. Look at that. And look at the look of horror on her face. It's like, oh my God. So now the question is the nurse gonna make it? Is she gonna survive? Or is Steve gonna catch up to her? Well, in the end, Steve wins. And now Dr. Loring has bought in Dr. Nelson, and they are looking at her dead body because someone or something has taken a chunk out of the side of the nurse's face. And they're trying to decide what is going on. And then Dr. Loring, he runs a radiation scan over her body. And guess what? He detects small amounts of radiation. So they're kind of looking at each other because, hey, who do they know that has radiation contamination? That would be Steve. So they decide, you know what? This is a job for the general, General Michael Perry. Now we see General Perry, and he's at work. The next thing you know, he gets a phone call from Dr. Nelson, and Dr. Nelson tells him Steve has escaped. Steve escaped about 3 hours ago. And the general, he's like, we've got to find him before someone gets hurt. Dr. Nelson is like, well, that's already happened. He's killed one of the nurses. Not only that, but Steve seems to be getting extremely strong. And the general's like, oh my God, who else knows about this? And Dr. Nelson says the only two people are Dr. Loring and myself. And the general's like, okay, well, let's keep it that way. And he tells Dr. Nelson, you need to find Steve and find him now. So Steve is wandering around the woods aimlessly. He doesn't have a plan. He doesn't know what to do. However, he's taking off heads. He's scaring children. And his condition is getting worse. And not only that, he is leaving parts of himself all over the woods. Eesh. So, like I said, Steve is wandering around aimlessly and he keeps getting flashbacks of his former self and the Saturn mission he was on. Meanwhile, the two doctors and the general, well, they are absolutely exhausted because they know they need to hurry up and locate Steve as soon as possible. And since Steve is radioactive, that does help them in their search because they can use radioactive detection equipment. However, they still need to find him and they need to find him fast. Well, by now you get the gist of the movie. Steve's condition is getting worse, but at the same time, he's getting stronger and stronger after every kill. He's wreaking havoc all over the place. Dr. Nelson is trying to keep his wife safe. And at the same time, now you have the local sheriff involved. It is literally becoming a mess, a hot mess. So the question is, are they gonna be able to find Steve in time before he, like, kills everybody and he is spreading radiation all over the place? Or is Steve gonna keep killing people and get stronger and stronger and stronger? Well, you guys, like I always say, I never tell you the ending. So guess what? You're gonna have to watch the movie and find out what happens. So the question is, should you watch this movie? Actually, I'm surprised this movie even got made because behind the scenes, well, there was things were messy. You get it, like the Incredible Melting Man. Yeah, messy. There were creative differences. There were rewrites. Is this going to be a comedy? No, it's going to be serious. Okay, which one? There were reshoots and time constraints. I mean, it was very, very short. And the budget was beyond low budget. But in the end, it all worked out. And I would encourage you, just like with any of these movies that I feature, uh, to go ahead and check out these actors and actresses that are in these movies because you'll be surprised. You'll say, wait a second, I've seen that person before, either in a commercial, an old TV show, an old movie, etc., etc. So, going back to the original question, should you watch this movie? I'm going to say yes, but the number one reason why is drum roll. The number one reason to watch this movie is for the makeup. And the person we need to thank for that is Rick Baker. As a matter of fact, Rick Baker was the first person to ever win an Academy Award for makeup. And the person that presented him with that honor was none other than the late, great Vincent Price. Now, Rick went on to win 7 Academy Awards. 7, you guys. And let me list them for you. 1982, An American Werewolf in London. 1988, Harry and the Hendersons. 1995, Ed Wood. 1997, The Nutty Professor. 1998, Men in Black. 2001, How the Grinch Stole Christmas. And his last Academy Award was in 2011 for The Wolf Man. Wow. And look at the pictures, you guys. Look at Thriller. Yes, he did the makeup for Thriller because Michael Jackson saw the special effects for The American Werewolf in London. And he was like, whoa, whoever did the makeup for that movie, I want them to do the makeup for Thriller. So there you go. So hats off to Rick Baker, who, after this movie, The Incredible Melting Man, as you can see, he went on to bigger and better things. But in this movie, you can just see how good of a makeup artist he really, really is. And shout out to the late actor Alex Rebar, who played the incredible Melting Man. And let's just say he didn't like sitting in the makeup chair for hours on end. And I guess you could kind of, you can kind of understand that. I mean, he was layered in syrup and paint, and he wore this like flesh tone helmet shaped like a skull. There was all different types of colored gelatin and latex. And then there was a heated air gun that was used to make all this stuff melt and drip. And it was like, and then, there were times when, well, let's just say he wasn't too happy with all of this. And taking all of that stuff off after a day of shooting was just a sticky, gooey mess. And in this film, there's a brief cameo by the filmmaker, the late Jonathan Demme. If that name is not familiar to you, it should be. He has done movies that you definitely have heard of. I'm just going to give you a couple of them. Philadelphia, starring Denzel Washington and Tom Hanks. The Manchurian Candidate, the remake that came out in 2004, starring Denzel Washington. Beloved, starring Oprah Winfrey and Danny Glover. And of course, 1991's The Silence of the Lambs, starring Jodie Foster and Anthony Hopkins. Oh, and I almost forgot this scene with the fisherman with the head and the river. It's a really good scene, you guys. Well, actually, this fisherman was played by none other than Samuel Gelfman. And Samuel Gelfman was actually one of the producers of this film. And with the special effects, his head being taken off and everything, well, he thought it would be a cool idea. So there you go. Oh, and some more. Did you know? Now, Rick Baker, who did the makeup for this movie, well, he was the original special effects artist for 1981's werewolf movie, The Howling. But guess what? He had to leave that production because he had to work on another movie, An American Werewolf in London. So before he left, he handed over the duties to his 21-year-old protege named Rob Botton. And guess what happened? Rob himself went on to be a great special effects artist. He did the special effects to, oh my God, one of my favorite movies of all time, which is The Thing, the version starring Kurt Russell. Oh my God, the special effects on that, amazing. He also did the special effects for RoboCop, you guys, Total Recall, Fight Club, the first Mission Impossible movie, and Game of Thrones. And the list of his credits go on and on and on. And I could go on, but I'll spare you this time. Thank you so much for listening. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that freaking notification bell. You can follow me on Instagram under the Book and Banter Society. And my book is available on Amazon. The Creeping Things and Other Tales of Madness and Mayhem. Until next time, take care. Bye bye.